We will be talking about self-leadership, and we have 4 principles to deal with as values as a leader. The first one is self-reflection. And self-reflection helps a leader to create self-awareness, which will lead to having a clear goal and life values. When a leader is self-reflective, the leader can focus on what matters most in life. And self-reflection is important to give time so that priorities can be identified and decisions can be made clearly, choices can be made clearly. When a leader self-reflects, the leader will have time alone with the Lord, which will help on clearing the soul, cleaning life's journey. And self-reflection is biblical. It is biblical. In the Bible it says, "Be still and know that I am God." Psalm 46:10. In repentance and rest is your salvation. In quietness and trust is your strength. Isaiah 30:15. We can have scripture references that will help us understand that self-reflection is really important for a leader. But the best way to learn about self-reflection is from Jesus, his life. In the Bible it says in Luke 5:16, Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. He spent time alone. We need to learn from Jesus that spending time alone with the Lord is very important for a leader. If we don't self-reflect, then we may not recognize who you are, our strengths, our weaknesses, the shadow areas that we need to improve in our walk as a leader. Self-reflection is very important to know our core self, not to imitate the good people we know, the good people around us. It's okay to imitate, but it is best and better to be ourselves. To be ourselves, to understand ourselves, we need to self-reflect. It helps us to develop our own life philosophy. The questions, the answers we have for questions, the big questions in life. Who am I? Why do I exist here? What is my purpose? We can understand and reflect and come up with our own life philosophy through self-reflection. My question for you, who is watching this video now, is when was the last time that you had time alone with the Lord, reflecting about your strengths, about who you are, understanding yourself. And self-reflection, by the way, we need to understand that it can happen anywhere. We can decide, plan, and make a schedule to have a self-reflection time. Or we can have it when we drive, when we are sitting in a train or a bus, or at the end of the day. When we finish the day, we can have 5 minutes to stop and reflect and ask good questions. What did I do well today? What was wrong? What did I do wrong? If we develop this habit on self-reflection, then we grow as a leader. For those of you watching this video, I want to ask you now to pause and take at least 30 minutes of your time to self-reflect. Just you can pick one topic. For example, it can be relationship. How am I doing in terms of relating to myself, relating to others, relating to God? You can pause this time and take maybe 30 or more minutes just to do self-reflection. So, how was your self-reflection time? I hope it was productive. Was it clear to clear your mind, your thoughts? It is difficult, isn't it? To pause, to stop, and just reflect. My advice usually is to have a notebook or a paper, just to, whenever other thoughts come to our minds, to have them in a parking lot, so that we can deal with those thoughts later. And that helps on self-reflections. Other people, they use prayers or songs to just calm themselves and come to self-reflection moments. The second principle that a leader needs to develop is self-confidence. I found this interesting saying on the internet. It says, self-confidence is the most attractive quality a person can have. How can anyone see how awesome you are if you cannot see it yourself? Self-confidence is very important. Kramer, in his book, you can go and read it, From Values to Action, the book we are using as a source for these 4 principles, says that self-confidence is an inner quality. You know, we can fake it. We can have a false self-confidence, but we cannot go anywhere. And self-confidence comes from becoming comfortable with our own skin. And he advises that when we accept ourselves, we can be more self-confident. And self-confidence comes also from knowing our strengths and weaknesses and accepting who we are, our background, our experiences. And when true self-confidence comes to a leader's life, is a part of leader's life, there will be commitment and continual self-improvement, and that makes us become a better leader. With self-confidence, true self-confidence, a team can be satisfied with the leader. A leader without true self-confidence will be lacking empowerment and influence in the team's lives. When a leader is self-confident, then the leader becomes open for any comment, also open to hear feedbacks, negative opinions, challenges from a team, from others. And a leader who is self-confident will allow the team to know also his or her weaknesses, not only sharing strengths. When there is self-confidence, then we speak up. We speak up the truth with love. So my question for you on this principle is, how can we develop true self-confidence as a leader, as a Christian leader? And what are the challenges that we face in the process of developing true self-confidence? Would you pause and reflect on these questions, please? The third principle for a leader to experience as a leader is genuine humility. Genuine humility, it doesn't come easily, but it's helpful usually to think about where we started from. A leader who forgets, if she or he forgets where the leader started, then the leader will struggle with genuine humility. Let me share you one story that I know about genuine humility. This engineer that I know didn't start as an engineer in his life. He was a daily laborer first, And as a daily laborer, he was very committed in his work. But later, he was able to develop a skill of plastering. So he was doing plastering work very well, and the boss looked at this skill, and he talked to the engineer and made a way for him to attend school. Later he became an engineer, a well-known engineer, building very well-known construction, houses and buildings. But I hear he always carries a picture that was taken when he was a daily laborer, covering himself with cement. And whenever that ego or pride starts to arise, he usually takes out that picture and shows himself and reminds himself where he started from. So it helped him to be grounded as a leader, as an engineer, to influence his society. Humility will help us as a leader to be grounded and to be a person who we are as a leader. A person with humility, a leader with humility, is approachable. So my question for you is, are you approachable to your team, to anyone? To be touched, to be near to you, to have a conversation? When we embrace genuine humility as a leader, our leadership thrives. Our team members will be willing to work with us, willing to cooperate with us, and there will be respect from our team when they experience true, genuine humility in our lives, and our contribution will be stronger. The challenge usually I face when I discuss this idea of genuine humility with people is, but genuine humility can be taken for granted. People may abuse genuine humility. My advice for us is to think of the life of Christ. He was genuine with humility, but he was firm with truth too. So my advice is, it is possible to experience genuine humility, but become firm too. With genuine humility, it is not about you. It is about others. It is about community. It's not about competing for the high chair or who is leading and who is holding the best idea. It's about service. It's about serving. And it's always great to have people around us who can remind us to honestly to experience humility. Because as we go higher as a leader, it's tempting to be proudful or arrogant. So we need people who can genuinely or honestly come to us, to speak to us, and to help us to come back to track. Because the more we rise up, the more our self-confidence and our humility can be tested. So my question for you now is, what are the challenges that you experience on embracing genuine humility in your context? And how can we develop, as leaders, this value principle of genuine humility in our workplace, in our church, in our life? The last principle or value that I'm discussing with you is balance. So we will see balance in two terms: balance in perspective, also balance in time management issues. A leader with a balanced skill, with balance in perspective, has the ability to see issues, problems, questions in different angles, from all angles. Also to include different viewpoints and ideas that are opposing to the leader's also idea and viewpoint. Experiencing balance is being able to make decisions explicitly with an understanding of the broad impact, instead of focusing narrowly. And this is what we learn from Kramer again. A leader with a balanced perspective becomes more informed and have genuine also interest to listen to others, to seek input, opinion, feedback from his team or her team. And that helps on decision making. And the other quality with a leader with a balanced perspective is communication. A leader with a balanced perspective communicates effectively with his or her team. And that will give confirmation that the leader listens. And that creates also ownership among the team, and that will help on program development. The challenge with leadership is there is that myth in leadership that people think, or a leader may be tempted to think, that the leader knows it all. A leader with a balanced perspective knows how to communicate effectively with his team or her team. And that gives the leader all-rounded global thinking ability. A leader with a balanced perspective also will confirm his or her colleagues that she or he listens, and that skill will help among the team to create ownership, and that will help on increasing the program's effect. There is that myth on leadership that we think leaders know it all and have answers to every question, which is wrong. So how are you dealing with your leadership in terms of being balanced, being open to listen to every opinion and see all directions and become well-rounded? How are you doing this in your ministry, life, family, also in your church? The other side of balance in life that I want to discuss with you today is also having a balanced life in terms of managing all parts of life. Kramer is a mathematician, so he uses this 168 hours to help us understand life buckets. Other parts of our life, like career, family, health, and sleep, also social responsibilities, fun, creativity, creation, reading, and reflection. How are we dealing with these parts of our life? Do we have a balanced approach for all life buckets, or are we imbalanced? Balance in life has many parts, and the element that constitutes a balanced life depends on our values. We always sacrifice, give attention to what we value, what matters most to us, what is important to us. So my last advice or request for you will be now to think of value words that will relate to you in terms of balance, in terms of humility, in terms of self-confidence, in terms of self-reflection. What words relate to you? And words that you can embrace as values in life as a leader.